You are listening to the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Brandon Pillar with Lalim's Martian, the one, the only, the Martian, and the Ottawa Senators keep things rolling. Four
Let's go.
straight wins, Martian, all at home for the good people of Ottawa, Ontario, and they make sure to keep that crowd buzzing. A 4-2 win in a game that Martian, we'll get into this right away. It reminded me a lot of the game up against the Washington Capitals. The Capitals looked like they were taking advantage of the Sens early and they get up to a lead. The Dallas Stars, it looked the exact same. And then after that first intermission, it
Yeah.
was all Sens.
I would almost say the momentum turned a little bit before that first intermission. Like that first 10 minutes especially was brutal hockey from the
Yeah,
Sens.
big
Like
time.
they were just allowing shots from everywhere. It was chaos in their own end. It was actually really scary. But then that 10-minute mark kind of hit and they settled into the game a little bit and they started playing a lot better. I think the fourth line really should be taking a lot of the credit for that, turning that momentum. They were doing it again, man.
Our
Banging
guy
bodies like
Casty.
crazy. That nasty guy, Casty, he's just banging bodies out there. He had 4 hits. Watson had 4 hits. Those guys were flying, and I think that really woke the rest of the team up.
Now, what did we think about Derek Brassard entering this game and playing on the second line? Martian, what Ross and I went over that in today's episode of the Locked On Senators podcast, but what was your opinion when that was the decided move for the Lions? How'd you feel?
Yeah, I think I understand the thinking there. Like they'd rather just disrupt the one line rather than moving Pinto up to that second line and disrupting 2 lines. And I guess it was the right decision in hindsight now, right? It didn't really bother me a ton, but I think I was already like kind of on record saying like I wasn't ready to give Brassard that long of a leash. I think if that line looked like it wasn't clicking, like let's say for instance DeBrincat wasn't getting a million chances in the first half of the game, then maybe you make an adjustment. And I think they thought about it. They put Pinto out there for one shift, at least one shift that I noticed where he was playing with those 2 guys. But yeah, I think Brassard was doing a fine job, and I'm really pumped that he got a goal too, right? Like just to be rewarded for being back with the Sens. Let's get this stat out of the way here, Pilsy. Derek Brassard was what was it?
The days in between, is that where you're going?
1,705 days between goals as an Ottawa Senator, which was I think 4th in all-time history.
Yeah, I've got it here. Martian Ross pulled it up in our group chat. And yeah, Chris Kelly, then 2,078 days. Joe Corvo, 2,091 days. And Jody Hull, 3,235 days in between goals as a Senator.
It's like 8 years.
93 to 2002, Martian. Not a math guy, but I believe that's 9 years. So that is quite some time. But I feel like we'll get into those for the after dark. Let's finish the game script here because, like we mentioned, this started off all Dallas Stars. I mean, we wanted to see Magnus Hellberg. We got to see a lot of them right away. I think Dallas started out 8-0 shots against the Senators, and I saw someone comment earlier that Magnus Hellberg looked good, but he was flailing around a lot. He said his idol was Dominic Hasek in today's pregame. So, hey, there's an old saying, if it looks stupid and it works, it ain't stupid. If you're flailing around and you're getting those saves, who cares how you get it done? That's why I love Dominic Hasek and now love Magnus Hellberg, number 39. Yeah. But he kept this team in the game, eh, Martian?
Yeah, for sure. And Pilsy, that's your kind of goaltending right there, my man.
It really is,
rolling around. We know Dom was your guy too, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to complain as long as he's making the saves. And I think it was actually a really good thing that he got so many shots early in the game and he was able to shut the door throughout that like initial barrage that was on him. So yeah, I think he had a really great Sens debut. I was fired up for him, and it was actually a little bit too bad that they got that last goal there near the end of the third period because it would have looked a lot better having just that one goal against in your Sens debut. But yeah, Magnus Hellberg, he made a hell of a lot of good saves too. Like there was a couple sequences initially right at the very beginning of the second period, that little quick sequence where I think it was Robertson got the chance, the second shot there, but it was like he took one, gave up a bit of a rebound, and then Robinson was right there, right on it, and he stopped that one too. And I love that. Like when you're making saves from your butt, that's a good time.
Yeah, it means you're just reacting. You're just doing what you can to get the stop there. So, yeah, the Stars really pepper it on to get this game going. And you said you felt the shift happened a little bit before the first intermission. Is there one kind of play that sticks out to you that was a spark where
Yeah.
your gambling brain was like, "Ooh, it's time to bet the Sens money line"?
And
Because you
you
let us
know I
know
did.
that you were on that.
You know I did. And that's probably why it reminded you of the Washington game, because I think I did the same thing in that game where I was just like, you know what? The Sens are down one. They're not looking particularly great yet, but I could see it starting to, it was bubbling up there and starting to kind of brew a little bit. So I don't know. It was mainly the Castellic line that made me, think that, because once they did their thing, then they followed up, I think, with the Kachuk line and Stützle, and then they were buzzing around. And then the Sens started kind of taking over the game a little bit towards the end of that period, right? So that's where my thinking was. And yeah, and like, it was 1-0 up until the very end of the second period. So like that second period too, even though the Sens were kind of controlling the play, I think a little bit more, they didn't really get rewarded for it until late into the second period. And I even tweeted it. I'm like, if the Sens don't score on this power play at the end of this period, I'm like, I don't like their odds as much as I would if they score here, they're going to win the game.
And you turned out to be right there, Martian. So good call. And Thomas Chabot gets his first of the season on the power play, assisted by Alex DeBrincat and Brady Tkachuk. A nice little wrister from the point that finds its way through. And that's good that Shabby got rewarded, because I don't know the exact stat. Maybe some of the boys in the chat or a producer can help us out. But I believe that Thomas Chabot did not have a power play goal all season, and the Sens have been plagued with no defenseman scoring on the power play, other than I think Michael Del Zotto was the lone defenseman that scored on the power play for quite a while. So that was good for Shabby to get off his back. And like you mentioned, it happens at 19:23 in the second. So those pesky momentum goals, as Ross always likes to point out, near the end of the period or right after another, or at the start of the period or right after another goal has been scored, they play a big part, and you go into the locker room feeling good.
Yeah, and actually we should mention too, initially Batherson, and Colby's got it here in the chat, but Batherson got credit for that goal initially, right? Everybody thought that he deflected it, but yeah, those momentum goals, Pilsy, we know, buddy. We're usually on the wrong side of them. So
not this year though, it seems, eh?
Yeah. Well, that's what winning teams do, right? They finish periods and they come out strong too. I think the Sens have been finishing periods strong so far this year, but I haven't seen like those really like strong starts to the period yet, like we'd like to see. I feel like they find themselves in the back of their heels a little bit to start periods sometimes, but I think there's just a little bit of excitement from the guys. They're just happy to be out there. They need to bear down.
It's a young team, so that can happen. Like sometimes the more veteran teams, they're able to settle in a little bit better.
Yeah.
Sometimes the younger teams, the smelling salts are still kicking in, and you haven't quite got in the game yet. But after that, Martian, in the third period, the captain Brady Tkachuk, he gets it going. And I said this on the podcast a little while ago. Brady Tkachuk's go-to move has been the low shot when he has time and space.
Yep.
And it just looks so good. Like
it's so sweet.
It just makes him look like he's just kind of, it's like getting the goalie caught with their pants down. Like, you left me wide open all along the ice, and I just slid it right under you. Like, and how about that Selly?
Oh my gosh, he's such an animal, man. Like,
yeah, really
what a mule. Like, he's actually carrying a guy almost on his back or like on his hip as he's driving the net, like so quickly too. He's not moving slow when he's doing that either, right? So goalies, I think, are just kind of like, holy crap, like this monster is gonna hit me. He's coming, and then he just goes five holes when they're kind of leaning back like that, right? So
yeah,
I like how he's able to do that. It's just such a cheeky way to score a goal, right? Like most guys, like Timmy's doing, like if Timmy's not going to drive the net like that anyways, that hard, but like he's going top cheese if he's coming down the wing flying like that. But
or he's trying to go backhand, like he's going to
he's going to pull a deke or something. Yeah, he's going to do something like skilled, but Brady's just like, no, I'm just going to throw this between your legs. It doesn't even look like he's like really shooting. It's more like a pass.
Yeah. Honestly, it's the Conor McGregor saying precision beats power every time, and that's all it takes. Hopefully, that Irish accent wasn't too bad there. But Martian,
that was an Irish accent.
just a little bit of it. It was supposed to be Conor McGregor. I didn't doll it up too much there. But
good.
At this point, it's a 2-1 game for your Ottawa Senators, and you got to be feeling good about the bets you placed at betonline.ag, Martian. And we know that's where you went because it's the trusted online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. You know it, Martian. I don't have to tell you this. No. But for the listeners, you got to check it out. They've got the best odds, totals, player performance props. Martian, we had a couple props going in the chat we'll get to later. They didn't exactly hit, but that's the way it goes. You got lucky with the Sens money line live betting. You can go to betonline.ag and live bet the game, or check it out on your mobile device to learn all about the trends in action. It's not just hockey, though. You got baseball, basketball, golf, UFC, whatever your pleasure. They got it at betonline.ag. So check it out today, guys. It's betonline.net, where the game starts. All right, so we left off at 2-1 here. And Martian, these are the types of goals that I often talk about on the podcast. Brady Tkachuk's goal was very similar, but I love me a goal where a guy just skates into the blue line down the wing and rips it past the goalie. Nice, easy, quick and done goal. And that's a nice way to win hockey games when you're getting those quick chances, because you're not spending too much time or energy. It's just a guy that sometimes Mark Mathot laughed about the saying in the intermission, getting pucks on net, but sometimes that's all you have to do. And after Brady gets one like that, it's our guy, Shane Pinto. 5 straight games with the goal. How are you feeling about Calder odds for Shane Pinto here? I mean, it's starting to spice up a little, especially we don't cheer for injuries, but having a top 6 centerman go down, and now Shane Pinto can get an elevated role in spots. It's looking good.
I'm surprised, Pilsy, I'm surprised those odds haven't changed yet. Like, they're actually still really good if you want to get them at betonline.ag.
There you go, buddy.
I think plus 1,600 still, right, for Shane Pinto Calder. So, I mean, that's kind of a nice bet right now, because those odds are going to change. 5 goals in a row, Pilsy. When was the last? I can't even remember the last time a Sen did that. I mean,
Connor Brown.
Oh, did he?
I think he set the franchise record last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I should remember that. That was like almost a franchise record or something, right?
I think it was a franchise record. I think it was 8 games.
I should have known that.
And then Drake the year before with 7. So
yeah.
Don't worry, Martian. It happens, but it still is very impressive.
You, buddy. Short memory, right?
Gold first brain. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. But man, this guy's release is sickening to me. He just he got that puck, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna fire this thing, and sure enough, he does. And I love the way he does that, Pilsy. You know how Austin Matthews usually, curls it towards his feet and then lets it go, changing the angle that way. If you notice on this goal, Pinto kind of does the opposite thing, where he moves the puck to the outside to change the angle, and he's so strong, he's able to still get good leverage on the shot. And he just, he does his thing, rips it top cheese, and I don't even think Wedgwood knew what happened, because it went by him so fast. But that guy can shoot the puck, and I don't think he's going to slow down anytime soon. I don't know. We might have to keep throwing some shekels on him for an anytime goal score, because like every game he's like plus 450. You're like, oh, this is kind of like easy money.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, 5 straight. Like, that's, I don't see him slowing down. There's no reason for it. So Shane Pinto officially on pace for 82 goals, as reported by the Locked On Senators podcast. But then it's a similar goal, Martian, for, ironically, Derek Brassard, the guy that takes the second center position here. And that's a vet's goal, like just coming down and having confidence in your shot. It's his first game all year, and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to try to overcomplicate things. I'm just going to get pucks on net. And that shot, I think you'd have to look at them both frame by frame, but just as nice, if not even nicer than
I would say almost.
My God,
yeah, I would say almost nicer the way he ripped that. And it went far down, so it's worth 2, right? So, but actually, like, I love how he comes down, and it's like a 3-on-1, or maybe like a 3-on-2 almost kind of thing, right? And who's on the other side? It's DeBrincat and Giroux, right? I think were the 2 guys. He just looks them both off and goes bar down.
When you're feeling the right decision. Go for it. Exactly.
Yeah, it's the right decision, right? That's what I think. That there was times in the game where the guys were trying too hard to set up DeBrincat, because like this guy's got a little bit of the yips right now, I think. I mean, he's getting his chances like crazy, but like, you want him to score some goals, and I know he got an assist, so he's still on that point per game pace. But like the amount of chances DeBrincat's getting, right? The guys are just trying to get him a goal here, and but not Derek Brassard.
He hasn't got the memo, Martian.
I got my own agenda here. Let me just rip this one. So yeah, it was good to see though. I was really happy for him. That was cool.
Definitely. Yeah, it was a good feeling to see Brassard. And shout out to that guy that had the old Brassard jersey in the crowd sallying after from
I
his
saw that.
first
Yeah.
term at Ottawa Senators. So you love to see that. That guy felt good. He was getting definitely good high
Kelsey,
fives and vibes from his buddies.
we got a great stat in the chat here. This one's from Aaron Iney. He
I'll
goes,
try to find it.
let's all appreciate how stacked the Atlantic Division is. A combined
Yeah.
30, 13, and 3 record for that division. That's insane.
Yep. I mean, Buffalo and Detroit are off to hot starts as well. So when kind of the three more bottom teams are able to push things up and kind of rise that tide, floats all boats, right? Then you're going to
Yeah.
look good for the whole division.
100%. Yeah. I've I've never said it, I don't think on the podcast, but like I wouldn't be surprised if 5 Atlantic teams make the playoffs. And
no, that's where I'm at too, Martian. Yeah.
Are you? Yeah, I think it's such a strong division. It wouldn't be crazy to say. Not now,
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
Definitely. And now we're looking at the scoring leaders in the NHL. And would you look at that? Number 3, you got Brady Tkachuk there.
Look at that. Tied with Connor McDavid.
Yeah, that's where you want to be. And then David Pasternak, Sidney Crosby, heard of him. Not a bad place
Decent
to
company. Yeah, decent company up there. Good for him, man.
Absolutely. And then, so the Stars are down 4-1. We don't need to spend too much time on this. And then they pull their goalie with like 3.5 minutes. Wyatt Johnson gets one on a lucky bounce. I think neither of those goals can really be Hellberg's fault. Like they're both quick bang bang plays where the defense just doesn't take advantage of loose pucks. So that's the end of it. It's 4-2. Your Ottawa Senators win 4-game win streak. That feels good to say. And last year, I forget, Ross tweeted out the stat at Locked On Senators, but it took, I think, 15 games or something for the Sens to get 4 wins. So you're feeling a lot better getting that in game 6. 14 games, Mr. Producer is correcting me here with the stats. So you feel a lot better with that. And with that, Martian, there's a lot of good feel-good stories in this game. As the guest of the show, I will hand it off to you. And before we both say Casty at the same time, let's go in a different direction.
Not Casty tonight. Not Casty tonight. But my goodness, what a great call by us, eh? That Casty, and then the guys just definitely like solidify us. Saying
with the chain,
with the chain, like
I think we
knew what we were talking about there, right? And Ross was laughing at us, but he can't laugh at us.
I got some stray ricochet shots in the chat.
Go with your gut, baby.
I always do, and that steers me wrong, but I always do.
The only thing you're bad at is doing parlays, but other than that, everything you say is pretty good.
Thanks, appreciate that, buddy.
All right, so standing out here, I got to go the goalie friendly direction, man. And this guy was, not a guy I thought I'd see in the net this soon in the season because we didn't even know he was going to be on the team at the beginning of the season because he got claimed off waivers. But Magnus Hellberg came in and had a great effort here. I think. Answer. And we've already pumped his tires a little bit, but the 29 saves that he had were all testers. I felt like there wasn't an easy shot all night. I don't think. Maybe a couple floaters from the point that landed in his glove, but he looked sharp all night. 29 saves, 935 save percentage. So, I mean, what more do you want from your goalie? He gave them a chance to win. And I was actually thinking, I'm like, geez, they better get him some goal support here because he was standing on his head and making all the right saves, making those big saves you need to make to stay in games. And so Magnus Hellberg, man, that's the guy.
Not gonna lie, that was my choice. So once again, Martian, we're on the same page here. So I'm looking for another guy here, and I don't have to look too far, Martian. Shane Pinto. I mean, you took the first star of the game. I'm taking the second star of the game here. That shot was absolutely elite. To have it 5 goals in 5 games, that's even further than absolutely sick, as Guy Boucher would say. And what he does here is also win face-offs. It's a postcast. What would it be that we're talking about face-offs? How about going 6 for 8, Martian? 75%, if my math is correct. So you love to see that from a young centerman that is going to be relied upon a lot more now that Josh Norris is out of the picture. So Shane Pinto is my Sens Central standout. This kid stays hot. He's becoming more and more easily a guy that I don't think many Sens fans are stopping to say is an untouchable in trades. Like that, like there's no argument, right? He is untouchable. You cannot trade this guy.
Yeah, like look at the potential he's got here. He looks fantastic. He's big, he's strong, he's a rookie still, for goodness sake. And look what he's doing. So yeah, I'm not. It's not crazy to say that anymore. I think people definitely would have laughed if they weren't paying attention in the previous years, or if, I mean, guys like us, like we were watching him in Nodak, right, and he looked amazing there too. So, I mean, that's Shane Pinto, and that's what we got there. And I think he's going to be good for years to come. And there's no reason we should even think about putting him in a trade. But my guy, second standout for me.
Ooh, snapping it around.
I don't give this guy enough love. I don't think anybody does, and I've been seeing a little bit of slander online. And I don't like to see that. I don't like to see any of that. Thomas Chabot.
Nice. Yep.
Thomas Chabot was his. I feel like he just turned it up a notch tonight at a certain point. He had a couple where he like blew a couple tires, and he made a couple mistakes. And then you could see him just like turn it to a new level. And this is something that we need to get out of him more often, because sometimes I find Chabot looks lazy out there. And it's not that he's lazy. He can get away with doing stuff when he's not giving it 100%, because he's in such great shape and he's a great skater and he's smart. But tonight he really showed some intensity. Okay, Brian Burke would be proud. He probably could spell intensity tonight. But no, so he had 26 minutes of ice time. 26-34 to be exact. 7 shots on goal, Pilsy, for Thomas Chabot.
For a defenseman, yeah, and especially for Chabot, a guy that I feel like he tries to take shots, but they often get deflected or caught in traffic, or he fakes the shot and sends it over to Norris, goal, Selly, here we go. But without Norris, he's not doing that, so he's taking shots, and you love to see that.
Yeah,
Martian, continue.
No, I think I was done. We're good.
Okay, because I had a perfect segue. My Central standout, the second guy, also had 7 shots. I'm going Alex DeBrincat, and sure, he disappointed us. Me, you, and Mr. Producer had a bunch of props on him. I had it to score anytime 2 goals and 3 goals when we saw that
parlay with Brady Tkachuk.
Oh yeah, you were loving that, eh?
Yeah,
did that one hit? It must have.
No, because DeBrincat didn't score, so we had.
I thought you had shot totals there.
I needed them both to score together. It was a nice one. It would have been a triple hit.
And a reason he was my Central standout was he was damn close. Like, he had that one opportunity where he kind of had a breakaway and then he draws a penalty there. I forget on who, but 7 shots, and he's looking like a guy that is hungry for that first goal on not an empty net, because a shooter like him, He needs to be getting goals to feel good. Sure, he's still getting points, 1 assist, not a big deal, but he needs to get a goal. Like, he's a finisher, and especially now without Norris. And that's where I was going, without Norris. And when he got placed on both power plays in the lines to start, we were all salivating. We're like, oh my god!
But dude, how much better do both units look when DeBrincat's on them both? It's like, oh, Alex, sorry, we got bad news. You're on PP2. Oh, okay, coach. Well, good news is you're on PP1 as well.
Just stay out there,
kid.
Absolutely, and that's the nod you want to hear from your coach if you're a goal scorer that's in the slump. So Alex DeBrincat is my Central standout. So Martian had Hellberg and Thomas Chabot. I had Shane Pinto and how did I forget it already? DeBrincat. Oh boy. Those are our Central standouts in a 4-2 win for your Ottawa Senators at home at the Canadian Tire Center. That's going to wrap it up for our nice, clean cut version of the Postcast today, Martian, unless you have anything else to add before we send the music in and get into the After the Dark program.
No, we can scoot it over. I think it was just another a nice, they held in there and they won the game. That's what we asked for, baby. And such a great thing for the home fans too, Pilsy. That's what I want to talk about, if people are going to the games in Ottawa the last week or so, they're going to be having a good time and they're going to be coming back. So that's what I'm looking forward to. It was a little lighter of a crowd tonight, right? Attendance people around 12,000. Yeah, Monday night around 12,000, and this was another one of those nights where if they were downtown, guys like me would just be cruising over there just to go and watch the game and have a couple beers, just walk over. But because they're on the CTC, they're going to miss out on that kind of traffic. But the team's looking really great.
Absolutely. The team's great. The crowd's great. The vibes are great. And this has been another great edition of the Locked On Senators Postcast edition. And Guys, you know, we're your team every day. So we got you a podcast episode. Ross and I are going to chalk this game up tomorrow, and you can catch that on all your favorite listening apps, Apple, Spotify, Google, and of course, check us out on YouTube so you can see Ross and I go over this game on Locked On Senators podcast. That's it for the postcast in the nice clean-cut version. For myself, Brandon Pillar, for the Leams Martian. Go Sens go, a 4-2 win over the Dallas Stars. It's the Locked On Senators postcast, your team every day. All right, we didn't get the music. Our producer must not have brought the fancy roadcaster.
Was that supposed to happen?
I thought we were gonna get some music. I was waiting for it. I was gonna jam
in
it. But
Postcast would be like a heavy metal, like we come in with like the
yeah. Oh, I had the exact opposite, Martian. I had like smooth jazz bringing us in, like lights dimming down. Like, all right, everybody, get yourself another beverage. I got the red wine going tonight, so I'm feeling good after a 4-2 Ottawa Senators win. And yeah, let's start with Locked On Senators in the chat. Anybody have boots on the ground tonight? We know two people did. Riley and Calvin, they won the giveaway and they got sweet seats. They tweeted out the pictures. Martian, I'll hand this off to you because you are the Renaissance boots on the ground guy. How awesome are all the boots on the ground picks we get? And what were some of the ratings you had tonight? Any good boots on the ground here? Or any 8 out of 10 or aboves?
Oh yeah, there was actually a couple tonight. Like I think the people are learning. I might have to start getting a little bit harder on them, but like there's certain things that I'm looking for when you send me a photo of your shoes. And for anyone who's listening who hasn't seen that on Twitter, basically people will send us photos of their feet in the CTC while they're in their seats, and usually it incorporates, a beverage or two in between their legs or whatever. I like to personally rate those photos when people bring them in. I think it's so funny. Yep. It's so great. But yeah, Pilsy, we had a few really good one night. There's some sturdy boots on the ground, great plants. I was really seeing a lot of great plants out there. Like people had just strong plants. They look like if you were sitting there, you would never be able to knock those guys over. And if they had a Molson between their legs, you'd never be able to spill a drop of that golden nectar. So. I love getting those. I think that's not like me. I spilled my beers all over the home opener. The guys were making fun of me calling it Lake Lalim. I spilled around, but we need people to send in more of those photos because it's so fun for us to get those. It's a good little like trending thing that we can do. The boots on the ground. Thank you, Pierre McGuire.
It's great, and I saw someone mentioned Pinto Noir for my wine. That'd be a good one. It's actually a Shiraz from Australia. Very, very nice, absolutely. Ross is getting a shout out, so we got to mention it. Ross, I thought you guys mentioned super chats today. I don't see the little dollar sign. Oh, thank you. Yes, Joe Bell, our guy, always hooking us up and giving us shout outs here. I don't know how it works, but there is a super chat where you guys can donate a couple dollars to have your chat kind of highlighted, and we will 100% go over all the super chats. Joe, unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you. If someone else knows how to do that. That's the first time I saw it last time. But anyways, either way, we'll chalk it up. We're all just having a good time one way or another. But we talked about trying to get breweries for the postcast. How about maybe we'll shift over to wineries? Maybe get some wine postcast sponsors. Because After Dark, I feel like that's perfect. Just swirling around a nice glass.
100%. I know. I mean,
what's your wine of choice, Martian? Let's start with that.
A nice raw. Yes. I like a nice dry wine. I'm not too picky, but like I'm more of on the dry side kind of guy. I don't drink a ton of wine.
You're sweet enough.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't drink a ton of wine. I find the hangovers just brutal.
But triples at the end of the night, you're all good.
Oh yeah, I can handle those. Actually, no. If you talk to the people in my household, they will tell you that I did not handle those so well. I was in a bit of rough shape that morning. Holy crap!
Hey, we all were, and rough shape because we loaned a lot of our happiness to the night before, so we were feeling it the day after. Let's get to Kevin's comment here. One of our all-time favorites. Oh, Ross pulled it away. Whoops. Whoa, super. Did Joe just super chat us 100? That is wow. Joe, you are the absolute man. We starting off
Joe.
hot. Okay. Well, since Joe super chatted us, we have to mention his comment here. This isn't me. This is Joe saying it. Smash that like button and show these boys some loves. That is absolutely awesome, Joe. You're the man.
You're the man, Joe.
I'll gladly give out appreciation. He gave a more than generous donation when we had shirts. So future citizen Joe Bell, love it, buddy.
The man.
So yeah, absolutely awesome here. Martian, what is your vibe now that this game is over? And let's try to think of where you were at when the Sens were down 0-2 compared to where you're at now at 4-2. What a roller coaster. These Ottawa Senators, never a dull day.
I know. And where I was at was after 0-2, I looked at this homestand and I was like, they need to win at least 3 of these games at the bare minimum for people to even be remotely happy. And what do? They've already won 4. And now we got a bit of a freebie here, right? Like they could lose the next game and we wouldn't be like, oh, this team sucks. We wouldn't freak out because we're cool. Yeah. No, I think we're good, right? It's if they win the next one, it's like, what a streak at home, right? That's incredible. I was a little nervous at 0-2. I don't know about you. I tend to lean towards the optimistic side and be like, they'll be fine until it's like they just mathematically are eliminated. But no, I'm good. I knew they had it in them, Pilsy. Yeah. This is a different team.
And that's the thing. Those losses, sure, starting off 0-2, not great, but I mentioned it. The panic button is still in its seal. It's still got the Amazon package in it. It's in my drawer over here at the back under some old like pens and like bills I still haven't paid yet. Like it's collecting dust back there when it was 0-2 because they weren't getting blown out. They're in these games, and we knew they needed some home cooking. We were fired up for the home opener. There was never a doubt in my mind that they were losing that home opener. As we mentioned, we responsibly went all in on our betonline.ag accounts because we knew it was going to happen. So that's you'll love to see that. And Corey Hill mentioning here, matter of fact, we beat the first in their division, Dallas Stars. That's just incredible. The Dallas Stars had not had a regulation loss, 4-0-1 before coming to Ottawa. And Martian, you mentioned the next game. That will be the 27th, Thursday night, still at home for the good people at the CTC, up against the Minnesota Wild, though. That is a very interesting opponent. And Martian, I'm a little sad we don't get a revenge game from Cam Talbot because we know Talbot had a chip on his shoulder heading out of there, and I think he would have played with a little extra oomph behind him. But I have no issue with Hellberg. I mean, even if it comes to Hellberg, you don't want Hellberg playing too many games. But if it's one more, let's hope so.
One more is fine. The way he played, I have no problem putting him back in there again. Right? Like this isn't Hogberg we're talking about, or Hoegberg, or however we used to say. You know, it's a different scenario. Like he looks like a very capable goalie. He's a big unit in there, and he's flying around. So one more game is fine, but I don't think Forsberg's gonna be gone that long, right? Like. It seems like it's just kind of a tweak thing. It's more of a rest it now so you can be good for later kind of thing. So, I'm not too worried.
That's what we're all hoping for. And Sean in the chat mentions there could be a different revenge game. What about if Philip Gustafson gets the start? I mean,
I hope he does.
Here it is. Hope Gus the Bus, which Gus the Bus is still not the nickname I go with, but since he's not on the team, I'm not going to get too worried about it. But I definitely would appreciate getting Gus over probable Hall of Famer Marc-Andre Fleury. Like, I don't think that's too hot of a take with his accolades and how long he's played. So I'll take Gus if you give me the option there.
Oh, yeah, and I'll be taking the over that night, too, if Gus goes in. So, I mean, the Sens haven't missed on an over in the last 4 games, just so you guys know. So, might be a good time to go to betonline.ag and just hit that over, right?
You want to hit the people with the parlay, Martian, get it out there?
For next game for Thursday?
Any parlay. I'll open the entire sports gambling world up to you. Let's see how easy it is. No, you don't have to do it right now.
You know what you just go over. You go over, and then you hit the Sens money line, and your odds should be decent.
You feeling it on against the Wild? That feels good to you, even without looking at odds, starters, or numbers. You feel good?
I took the under tonight. I'm not gonna lie. It was 6 goals, so like they had to. It's usually 6.5, but they set it at 6. Those Devils, they knew. And so when the Stars pulled their net with like 4 minutes left, I'm like, crap, I'm like, this is never gonna last. And sure enough, it didn't. But it went the other way. Dallas ended up scoring that 6th goal. But no, I'm comfortable with it. I think that just this team knows how to score goals, man. They're going to score a ton. They got held off the scoreboard for basically the first, whatever it was, 38 minutes of this game. And then they potted 4 in the remaining 21 minutes, 22 minutes. So.
Unanswered. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were firing. And when they get hot, they stay hot. They score in bunches. They're actually so fun to watch.
I love that little nervous laugh at the end there, Martin. You're like, I can't believe I'm saying this. Yes, your Ottawa Senators are fun to watch, especially when they win 4 straight games at home. You love to see it. Seb mentioning, gents, 5 out of the top 8 teams in the NHL right now are Atlantic, and that's actually not. I mean, I guess 5 would be, but like for Atlantic teams to be at the top of where the NHL is, it's not surprising to me. This has got to be one of the toughest divisions in the sense that, sure, there are a couple rebuilding teams, but they're rebuilding teams other than Montreal that are actively on the rise here. Like their dividends are starting to pay off, and we're starting to see it in the Detroits, in the Buffaloes, and obviously in the Ottawas that have added in the offseason. So it's not too surprising that it raises competition here.
Yeah, and it's so early in the year to say like they're the top 5 or 8 in the league. Like, I mean, it doesn't really mean too much until like, the 15 game mark or the 20 game marker. They say usually around like American Thanksgiving is that marker where like the teams that are higher in the standings or have way better odds of making the playoffs when they get to that point. So let's just pump the brakes on the Atlantic for now. I think teams like Montreal are going to fall off. I think Buffalo's going to obviously fall off a little bit. Detroit, I don't think they're as good as some people think they are. We know what it's like to have like a real rebuilding team where they can look good through small stretches of time, and then all of a sudden just like, 8-game lose streak. And
that was kind of the Red Wings story last year, Martian.
Yeah,
and they started hot and then they
100%. Yeah, 100%. You're right. And I think even this year, like a guy like Raymond who started off hot last year, he's struggling at the beginning of this year, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong, but I heard
him and Sider haven't had too hot of a start here. Joe Bell mentioning a good convo here, Martian. I wonder what our goals against average has been since we swapped goalie coaches. Zach Burke, obviously we don't know too much about what goes on behind the scenes there, but as a hashtag goalie friendly show, we love to follow this kind of stuff. And Zach Burke seems like really that he's a guy that's fit into this coaching staff well. It seems like he's got a good handle on what each goalie can do, where they're at. Like, I don't know. Ross said, here it is, man. Producer Ross on the case. 3.11 goals against average, but I wonder how many of those are Matt Murray's Jekyll or Hyde, whichever one of Jekyll or Hyde is the bad version.
I believe it's Hyde.
Because I believe it's Hyde. Okay, I wonder how many of those were Hyde stats from Mark, I'm forgetting his name already, Matt Murray, because there were some bad ones of those. So definitely I think the goaltending has got better. And to have kind of literally 2 waiver wire pickup goalies work out. Like, I feel like anytime you pick up a Tendy off the waiver wire, Martian, you're just rolling the dice and taking whatever you get. But it's been good for the Sens. They've rolled 2 6s.
Yeah, just pick up Swedes on the waiver wire. Big Swedish goaltender. Those guys, like the Sweden is a factory for big, beautiful goalies. And Hellberg fits the bill. He reminds me of the way he looks with like the kind of like, he's got the rosy cheeks and the big beard and it's like the blonde beard. He reminds me of Leonard a little bit, the way he like looks and acts. Yep. Don't you find that?
Hopefully he does, or actually maybe. I enjoyed Leonard's temper, but his temper is absolutely crazy. Leonard was. And back to our guy, Kevin. We love you, Kevin. Super chat, $5. Thank you. Appreciate that. And Kevin's been trying to get you on this for most of the postcast, Martian. So we've chatted enough about the game so we can go over to some prospect news.
We always get a little Boucher talk in there.
We got when he's doing this good, we got to. So Kevin says, Martian must be happy that Tyler Boucher scored for the 67th in yesterday's game. And this is not a typo, 9-0 to start the season. Martian, I'll pass it off to you.
Yeah, of course I'm happy. I'm super fired up. It's like a little gratifying for me, right? Because I've been there for him this whole time. But yeah, he needs to keep it going. I think he will. I think he's feeling pretty good right now, that Tyler Boucher. So he's in that groove. Hockey players need a little bit of that, and we know what it was like last season for him with like COVID, switching from school to the OHL, and then injuries is like, and then a suspension. It just goes on and on. So he didn't really get that chance to settle in. I think towards the end of the year last year, he started looking good for the 67s. Ottawa Senators training camp this year, I think, helped him a lot. I think he did a lot of training with the big dogs, Winchester and Sean Donovan, with the training staff here. So there's no question in my mind that he's got the tools that are going to translate to the NHL. I will love to see him continue scoring at this pace. And I think he will love to score at this pace too. And they're 9-0. And I will not last another week without going to a 67s game. So I think Friday I'm gonna try to make it out there. That's what I gotta do.
We need hashtag boots on the ground here. And yeah, hey, Trader Joe, 6.99. Thank you. We appreciate that. Here's the question. How long before we see Pinner jumping to 2C? And think the brakes have been pumped on Chychrun, rightfully so. Cheers from your local Matty insider. I'll jump into this one. I was saying Pinner should have been the 2C right away. I know Ross is on the other side of that. Ross ends up having the correct prediction, which is fine. I think eventually, like, how do you keep a guy that scored 5 straight? But then I guess the counterpoint is, how do you keep a guy in Derek Brassard that's 1-1 also? So that's fair. I just kind of had that debate with myself there. I'm glad we worked through that quickly there, Martian. I guess I'll let you answer that part of the question, and we'll move on because there's 2 parts to this question that I want to get into.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that you won't see it next game probably because they won and Brassard scored and Pinto scored. So like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? This was like oh no, we don't have Norris. What are we gonna do? Let's just put Brassard in his spot and see how it goes. And I think it went well. So I don't think there's any reason to change it yet. Although I think there's a hair trigger on that for sure. Like, if Brassard has even like a bad shift, it might be Pinto time in that second line, and that's fine with me.
Exactly. That's the thing. There's good ways, options either way. I'm with you on that. And think the brakes have been pumped on Chychrun, rightfully so. You know what? I've kind of taken some time to digest this a little more. And Elliot Friedman has said talks have cooled off. I think Pinto's the real standing point. So it's ironic that these two are linked together in this question. But the thing with, and Cheryl Pounder mentioned this, check out her interview with TSN's Cheryl Pounder on Friday's episode. But she mentioned the fact that he's a left shot and would be playing on the right side. That's not exactly ideal, and you're not going to pay. I don't think it's smart to pay full price or above full price what the Coyotes are asking there. And he's got the injury concerns. And look, I mentioned this and I stuck to this. I really think it makes most sense for the Ottawa Senators to wait till the trade deadline. The market changes. You get an idea where you're at. Injuries happen. Teams that thought they were going to be in it or out of it. Expiring deals. You got to move them. All these kinds of things. Pilsy, I wanted to see how this decor would do. And it looks like it's doing all right.
It's almost like Pilsy's preaching patience again.
Yes, Pilsy's preaching patience. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, why pay that big price right now? They don't need to do that. Like, their decor,
and he's not even healthy.
It hasn't been an issue at all. If the decor was an issue, I guarantee you they wouldn't be experimenting by putting Shabbat with Brandstrom. Like, things are going pretty good on the back end, and I think with the team overall. They've been allowing like two or 3 goals the last couple games here, so that's nothing too bad.
And when the goals have happened, like at least recently, it hasn't been like, oh my god, what a defensive like blunder. Like maybe there's minor things. You're like, Brandy maybe could have been a little harder on that puck, or they need to get rebounds out of the way. But I feel like that happens all around the league, right? So say that 5 times fast. Pilsy's preaching patience. Pilsy's preaching patience. Pilsy's preaching patience. No, I got to 3. I'm not even. I felt confident there. Damn.
Yeah, you had it going. Yeah. If I tried, I would fail right away. Should I try?
Well, yeah, so we're still up there.
I feel like my mouth is like a little dry too. This is gonna be hard. Pilsy preaching.
No, not even one.
Not even one. All right, here we go.
Oh boy, what do you got? What do you got going?
I panicked. I panicked. I got nervous. I couldn't do it. I got nervous.
We're getting a note from our producer, Helberg Chain, confirmed. Attaboy, nice. Martian, you got it. And yeah, I swear I was on it with you, as we're 2 linked guys on the Sen Central standouts here. So
Yeah.
looking pretty good for us here, Martian. 2 for 2.
Very nicely done by us. Yeah, no, I think it's no surprise though that Hellberg gets that right. And based on what we're hearing, like Gord Wilson, who's probably like one of the more connected guys with the team, who's like kind of down in the mix and getting involved with the players a little more. He's one of the ones who said like this guy's a beauty, and the boys love him. So it's pretty cool. Apparently, Hellberg at one point walked up to DJ Smith maybe a couple games ago and goes, "I'm ready when you need me."
I
love
honestly,
that.
I'm a huge Hellberg fan. From starting
Yeah.
with how awesome his kits always are. That interview he did, he takes 39. He says Hasek's his idol. I mean, this guy's pandering to me. So obviously, I'm a fan favorite of his. Now, another question from Seb here. Oh boy, Martian, this
You
one
did this
caught
question
us
last
off
time.
guard last time. I still am not ready. Like, I don't know what Pinto's contract will be. And the thing is, I think I mentioned it last time. I think it'll be similar to DeBrincat here, though. But I know we're getting spoiled as Sens fans, being like, "Oh, new contract, 8-year deal. Let's get it done. They're locked up for life." But I really think Pierre Dorian is going to start spreading things out, because it's a blessing and a curse to have guys locked up long term. Because either you're locked in and things go great, or you're locked in and it's no fault of players, but things don't go great. And then you're kind of scrambling. I mean, look at the Colin White situation, right? We all were celebrating that. Oh, he's buying into the rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't exactly pay out out the way it does. And I'm not suggesting that will happen with Pinto. Not at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying,
I
as
know
far
what
as
you're
cap flexibility goes, it's not always the smartest idea to have every piece locked in, and then you got to make the puzzle pieces work around it. Do you have any kind of inclination of what you think a Pinto contract will look like here?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to stick with my answer that I had last postcast that I was on for. I think that it was the Washington game, I believe. But my answer then was like, if we can get like around like a Batherson style deal for him with maybe like a whatever the market correction would be, he'll probably end up having to get a little bit more money, probably even than Batherson. That's probably perfect at like a whatever 5-6 years or something. But yeah, again, like I haven't thought about it since we got asked last time, and I didn't think about it before then at all. So
I know I'm not there yet. Just reveling in the vibes, and we pulled up here longest rookie goal streaks in franchise history. Shane Pinto is your leader with 5. Mark Stone, heard of him, with 4. Daniel Alfredson, Hall of Famer Daniel
there
Alfredson
you
with
go.
4, and then also Alexi Ashton with 4. Times 2? Question mark?
Yeah. Looks like it says
in
time
his rookie season, he did it twice. Okay, I was like, you can only do that to start off. Yeah, never mind.
2
But
times
yeah,
4 is
that
8.
not a math guy. That is definitely some impressive company to be with. That's for sure. I don't know where you put your hands on the wheel here for a sec, Martian. Where are we going next?
That's a great question. I don't know. Our producer might have taken a little bit of a break here, but that's just fine. We'll take a little look here. A lot of questions coming in.
Yeah, let's fire off some last minute question, guys. We're nearing the 50-minute mark here, and if you guys have any burning questions to hit off, Martian.
Oh, here I got a good one. It looks like so. It sounds like I don't know if I haven't had a chance to watch the video yet, obviously because it came out while we were doing this. But apparently, Casti, when he was handing over the chain to Hellberg, called him Chopper. The nickname is Chopper.
Huh.
I'm
not against it. I don't know the origin here.
Yeah, I mean, I went, Hellberg, Hell's Angels, they ride motorcycles, Chopper. I don't know. That feels like a hockey guy, kind of like that's the line we're gonna draw, but I don't know. Or maybe he looks like a Sons of Anarchy character. Yeah, he looks like a biker. Or maybe he drives maybe he drives a motorcycle.
These are questions, Martian. You got to put your ears to the streets and find this stuff out.
I will find out, and I will tweet it out. Per the
what car does Magnus Hellberg drive, or bike, maybe? Possibly.
Yes, it's a 2-wheeler. Yeah.
All right. I would say, unless you guys got one last burning question here, we can just about wrap it up. This has been classic Postcast After Dark. We're just hanging out. Like if you guys have things you want to talk about, if we're just going off the rails here. Okay, we got some Instagram pictures pulling up here. Is that Hellberg?
I got to assume that's Hellberg on this.
That's sweet.
What do you call that?
I like
A
it. I don't know
hoverboard? A
what you call
hoverboard?
those things. No, it's not a. It's like an aqua pack. I was gonna say jet pack, but for the water, an
Yeah,
aqua pack.
that's pretty cool. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you're just
Mar-
listening, then that's just. Oh, I guess you can't just
no,
listen
this
to
is the
this.
after
Yeah,
dark. We're
yeah,
all right
right. Yeah,
here, right now. Martian, how many seconds do you think you could last on one of those things? How long are you staying fully elevated?
impossible to know, but I'm pretty sure it'll be like 2 seconds.
I figure I could get after a couple tries. I think I could get
Well, yeah,
5.
I mean, snowboarding, like, it's a balance thing. You gotta have a little bit of core
I'm also
strength,
a
right? I
surfer
don't
too.
know.
Not a big deal.
Oh, yeah, see, I've never done that either, so and if you can do that, then I imagine that's a little easier. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
There
Here
you
we
go.
go. So there's obviously some motorcycle references with the name Chopper. So man,
Yeah,
the boys already know what he's all about, and they got a nickname for him. The team chemistry and the culture here, you gotta love it.
I love that. Yeah, we need Hellberg to post something on Instagram so the boys can roast him like they do to everybody else, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is just what excellent work by our producer. Going from social media account to social media account, you gotta love it. Rosie Sens 4-2 and smoking out there. Smoke them if you got them. Go Sens, go. All right, I'm down for that.
Maybe later.
Yeah, 420 pills. You can retweet that. That's definitely all right. Yeah. So, having said that, Martian, I think that about wraps it up here. It's been
That should do
another
it. Yeah.
successful version of the postcast 4.20 goals for per game. That's the sweet spot you want to be in. You love to see that. And the Ottawa Senators, speaking of 4s and 2s, beat the Dallas Stars 4-2 and have a 4-2
Wow.
record. I feel like is that a clap worthy
I
one?
like
I
that.
kind of
Yeah.
forced my way through that. So,
No,
but
you're good at that. I like it.
yeah,
Legal. Good goal.
yes, got it. So that is it. Oh, there we go. Sugar Ray Emery getting it going. Let's go.
Animal.
That about does it for this version of the Postcast After Dark. We're always having a good laugh on here, Martian. Thank you for joining me at Leams Martian. If you don't already follow him, what are you doing, first of all? But go follow him on Twitter. The best clips, the best highlights, the best analysis. He's got it all here. And yes, we got to shout out our producer, Ross. He's killing it. Absolutely. This isn't
Give
his
him the
first
love.
time reduced. I was going to say he's anonymous, but I think the gig is up here that
Yeah.
Ross is the producer behind the
He's the
scenes
man
when he's
behind
not
the
able to
curtain.
join us on video. Thank you to Ross. Thank you to Kevin. Thank you to Joe. I mean, geez, what a super chat donation. That is, you do not have to
Yeah.
be that generous, but we won't apologize or take it back. We certainly do
That was
still appreciate it
cool.
from everyone.
Yeah, and shout out to my boy Sean Foyes. You got a chance to meet him over the weekend at the
Boise.
at the last Sens game. So what's up, Foyes? Good to see you again, buddy. Nice to see you in the chat there. Glad you made it home all right.
Absolutely. It sounds like you guys had a good time. And next time we are all at a Sens game, we will have a good time. And I can't wait to set up the next event. But that's for another time. The Senators are facing off against the Minnesota Wild later on this week. We'll have another episode of the Locked On Senators podcast. Obviously, it's your team every day. For myself, Brandon Pillar, for the Leams Martian, for Ross spinning the questions and getting the photos and the stats behind the scenes. You got to love it. And for everyone in the chat, you guys are the best. We love hanging out with you.
Yeah, Nick Spence too is in my section at the game as well. Great guy. Yeah, we love to see him
Oh
out there.
man, Sen Central
All the listeners
citizen,
were
Nick
around.
Spence. We love to see it. So we can't wait to chat with you tomorrow. And on the next postcast, the Ottawa Senators win 4-2 up against the Dallas Stars. 4-game win streak. This has been the postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast. Your team every day.